We'd like to start talking about your sister, Rushan Abbas, who was arrested in 2018, 2 years ago. Please tell us about that and the reason behind her getting arrested. Also, are you able to contact with her or no?
My sister, Dr. Gulshan Abbas, was abducted September in 2018, 6 days after I spoke at one of the think tanks here in Washington, D.C., Hudson Institute. I talked about the current concentration camps built by the Chinese government and the China's war on Islam, how persecuting Uyghur Muslims using the pretext of false narrative of war on terrorism and the Islamic extremists, labeling the Uyghurs as Islamic extremists. So basically 6 days after I talked about the China's current crimes against humanity, my sister and my aunt both got abducted on the same day from two different cities. Also, they live about 1,400 kilometers away from each other. Then I have been very vocal and I raised this issue in international media and the social media and every place I can talk about this. And then finally, the Chinese government released my aunt 4 months later. But since September 2018, there's absolutely no information on my sister's whereabouts. About 4 weeks ago, Radio Free Asia finally confirmed that my sister was detained by the Chinese government. That's the only information I have for past 22 months.
Okay, Ms. Roshan, so what's the latest and newest about Igor's file and the violations have been done by the Chinese government towards them in general?
I think I'm going to elaborate a little more, give a little, sorry. I think I'm going to elaborate this a little more and take time to describe the situation to your viewers. Because many people don't know who the Uyghur Muslims are and why they are being targeted today because of their religion as Islam and ethnicity. And the main reason for that is they are the inhabitants, the landowners of East Turkestan, which lies in the heart of Central Asia, where has been a prominent center of commerce and the religion for past 1,000 years or more than 2,000 years for the being center of the culture, original Silk Road was originated in our homeland. And our homeland, East Turkestan, gave birth to many great civilizations and various points of the history, being the cradle of scholarship and culture and the power and the religion, Islam. But recently, China is using the war on terrorism to eliminate Islam from Uyghur people because they know the Islam, our faith, is one thing keeping us from being assimilated to Han atheist Chinese. The Chinese government realized that the fundamental, the most fundamental aim of the Chinese government system of oppression is to destroy religion as the Islam, as it's the bond that holds the Uyghur people together and the bond that have helped the Uyghur people because of our religion that kept us alive from assimilating. Just like the mortar that keeps a building standing and strong together, the Chinese government wants to destroy the most fundamental feature of the people of East Turkestan, which is Islam. Since the communist atheist Chinese government's occupation in East Turkestan in 1949, the government has tried relentlessly to destroy Uyghur culture and our religion. We have been labeled under the a nationalist. Yes.
How are they? How are they exactly? What are the violations have been done from the Chinese government? Let's talk more about this now, please.
Yes, okay. When you look at it, the current situation, historical mosques and the madrasas, Islamic schools, everything is destroyed. Not only the mosques are being destroyed, even cemeteries are being destroyed. Now they are building crematorias next to those concentration camps, knowing that we are Muslim, we don't cremate bodies. But last time the history saw the crematorias and the concentration camps together, the Holocaust has taken place. We all know that. And this is what the Chinese version of basically conducting the genocide on the Uyghurs. The Uyghur girls are forced to marry Han Chinese. If the girls say no, then they are being viewed as Islamic extremists, didn't want to marry non-Muslim Han Chinese because Chinese don't have religion, they are atheists. And they are taking our children, over 500 Uyghur children are taken to government-run orphanages where they are being raised as little communists. And they are being raised with the communist atheist ideologies, forsaking Islam. And also during Ramadan, there are video clips that people are forced to eat pork. There are 1.1 million Han Chinese cadres deployed to Uyghur homes to live inside of their houses, to monitor their daily activities, not just watching them if they pray or if they do anything that's Islamic, but even bringing the food, and they cannot question what's in it. If they say what's in this or what kind of meat is this, then they will send to concentration camps because they are being Islamic extremist person because he didn't want to eat pork. The Chinese government is claiming this is for the national security issue for China. China's fighting terrorism. What does somebody is eating pork or not eating pork or refusing to drink alcohol, or somebody's appearance having a beard or wearing a headscarf?
Yeah.
What does that has anything to do with national security?
Okay.
So the Chinese government is basically using the Islamic countries as the platform to spread false narrative,
So,
labeling
Ms.
Uyghurs
Rushan,
as
could you hear
the
me?
Islamic extremists. But
Yeah.
so what are the Islamic, illegal Islamic activities? Fasting, praying, or even not only traveling to Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia or Dubai for vacation or going to
Ms.
Turkey.
Rushan, I have a question now regarding also about the arrest camps in Xinjiang. Do you have certain number of people have been arrested there, and how are they exactly treated in these camps?
According to some of the documents, the scholars being very conservative and saying 1.8 million. But according to US Defense Ministry, it's 3 million. But according to Uyghurs, it's far more than that because hardly anybody left on the streets. So we say usually it's more than 3 million Uyghur Muslims are taken to concentration camps. This condition in the concentration camps, they are basically forsaking their religious identity. They have to say, if somebody asks, are you Muslim? They have to say, no, I'm not. But their name is like Muhammad or Aisha, or, they are Muslim, they are Uyghurs. But just because they have to denounce Islam, they have to say no. And they have to indoctrinate in the communist ideologies. So this is just the mental, physical part, like a mental, psychological part, but the physical ways they are subject to rape, the Uyghur females.
Yes, that's what I'm going to talk about next, Ms. Rushan. How about the women arrested? There were reports talking about what you just said about rape cases and medical experiments were done with these women. What do you know about that? Please tell us.
Yes, I have traveled around the world. I have met these women myself personally, and I talked to them. They have experienced rape. They have experienced taking unknown medications. And after they take that, and they have witnessed other young girls around them that their menstrual period stop, and that they, either that they will have very heavy bleeding. So they are facing some sort of medicational, either sterilization or medical test. Also, there's Kazakh lady, Sayra Gül, who recently just released a book. She has witnessed the Uyghur girl was brought to the front of group that they were sat there watching her being raped, and anybody is disgusted by this and they look away or look down, they were being punished, they were taken away, and they never showed up because they showed sympathy, or they were discussed with this. So these are the kind of things happening that you cannot imagine in the 21st century. So basically, the Chinese government, what they are doing is eliminating the Uyghur Muslims. The option given to Uyghurs is either you live as Han Chinese, you denounce your religion, you denounce your ethnic identity, you give up your language, and you become Han atheist Chinese. We allow you to live. If you practice any kind of normal, simple practice of Islam, then you will face persecution or taken to concentration camps. Now, actually, new development about this is it's not just concentration camps anymore. It is the modern day slavery. These Uyghurs are used for working on production. They're not being fed enough food, and they are forced to work long hours as the slaves. And even just regular people, I'm not talking about the camp right now, just the regular people living like you and me. They are forced to taken.
Exactly. This takes us to the other question. So the whole American newspaper published lately that the violations in China don't only include Uyghurs, but also include every single Muslim. What's your comment on that, or what's your information about that?
Yes, when I say the people of East Turkestan, that includes not only Uyghurs, but all Muslims like Uyghurs, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, Uzbek, Tajik, all these Muslim people live there. So currently, it's not just those Uyghur Turkic Muslims like we speak similar language, the Uyghur, Kazakh, and Kyrgyz, these Turkic people, but also the Hui Chinese Muslims, like they look like Hui, they look like Chinese, they speak Chinese, even they are being targeted. So this is not just about the Uyghur people being persecuted, or only the Uyghurs, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, or the Muslims in East Turkestan, or so-called, you call it Xinjiang, which means new territory, the official name. It's not only them targeted, it's the entire Islam is being targeted. China is looking at our people or Islam in China as the east gate of Islam and the east fortress of Islam. So if they break that, then there's nothing is going to stop those atheist, communist Chinese massing, going through to Central Asia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, going through Turkey, coming all the way to Middle East, because the communist ideology, the atheist ideology, feels that the only threat to them is the original thought and the religion. The only thing on their way is our religion, our faith, Islam. So our Muslim brothers and sisters need to realize that when we are facing China burning the Uyghurs, burning the Qurans, burning the mosques, demolishing the cemeteries, I look at our Muslim brothers and sisters in Ummah. Where is the outrage? I understand that they don't know what's happening. So please listen to us. We need our Muslim brothers and sisters to be with us and stand by us, because what Chinese government is doing is clearly it's war on Islam. They announced to the world, actually this is not just my words, if you look at the Chinese media, they announced to the world that they are going to rewrite our Holy Quran, reflecting with communist ideologies. How in the world Islam, or any religion for that matter, compatible with communist atheist ideologies?
Okay,
Why are Muslim scholars, ulamas, and Muslim countries are not saying anything, something like this?
Or talking about this, could you please tell us about your activity to support Uyghur especially, and what's your message to the world about this topic finally?
Okay, my message is please don't listen to Chinese propagandas. Chinese government is spreading disinformation about Uyghurs. Please help us, stay with us, because the Chinese ideology, the communist ideology, is not just staying in our homeland. So my activism, what I'm doing, is not only raising awareness about what's happening with the Uyghur people. Also, I'm trying to wake up the Muslim majority countries and all the world, democratic countries. If you value democracy, if you value any kind of human dignity, if you have anything in your heart that you live with your conscience, not with Chinese money, and the Chinese trade threats and the manipulation of the world economy because of the Belt and Road Initiative. Please listen to our cries, because whatever we are facing today will be the future for the world. That is the plan China has for the world community. Our silence will undermine what we value in our faith, in our religion, and in our Holy Quran. Like the Edmund Burke said once, the only thing necessary, the triumph of evil, is good men to do nothing. So we have to act, we have to do something, because Chinese government not only getting away with genocide, they are being rewarded by all these countries signing up for Belt and Road Initiative and supporting China's economy. And actually China is holding the Winter Olympic 2022. What is Olympic Games anyway? Olympic means that you come together with all different religion, all different
Yes.
culture, race come together to celebrate the differences in the world.
Yes, Ms.
Chinese
Rushan.
government is attacking Uyghurs today, putting them in the concentration camps because of our religion and ethnicity. China is the last country should hold the Olympic Games. So
Thank you
please
so much,
raise
Ms.
awareness.
Rushan.
Please
Yes.
tell this
Yep.
atrocity
Yep.
what Chinese government is doing to your community, your country, your politicians, because we really need the help of the people who stands for the justice.
Yeah, Ms. Rushan, I would like to thank you so much for everything you've said and for your time. That was